Visibility of approval and endorsement cycles history per version. Users can now track an object's approval and endorsement cycles within each version of an object. It allows them to track who approved or endorsed the object, when, in what version, view comments, and preview or download digital signature documents. This effectively makes the audit process exhaustive. Let's suppose we were newly added as the role that is responsible for the budgeting process, and we want to know more about the past approval and endorsement cycles. All that information is available in the version history section of every EPC object, under Approval and Endorsement, next to the corresponding version numbers. When opened, we can expand the endorsement and approval sections, in which we can see all the information available to us: the version number, when it was done, and by who, the approval cycle type, and the digital signature document that we can preview or download. We can also see the comments that were made by users and when the version was published. Additionally, this feature also shows if the object has been rejected in the endorsement or approval cycles, with the same information available as mentioned previously. Another way this feature can be of value is if we were working on an object and the approval cycle was canceled by someone else, we can see who canceled, when, and for what version of the object. Custom user-defined attributes per environment. Environment admins can now set in place different user-defined attributes for each EPC environment. This allows users to customize their attributes based on the needs and nature of the environment, while increasing the organization and specificity. Let's say our company has two EPC environments, one for our head office and one for our factory. The custom attributes needed are distinct, or some may be mandatory for one environment and for the other may not even be applicable. So we're going to configure environment attributes. They are found in the Environment Admin section in the Attributes tab. We have one environment attribute here, and the ones that are grayed out that are separately configured system attributes, we can't edit them here. Users can create environment attributes in exactly the same way as system attributes. These attributes will not display in any other environment. Here we have opened two tabs to clearly show the difference between the attributes of the two environments. We can see here the attributes of our head office environment, namely department and retail value, while we cannot find them in the factory environment. This removes any confusion users may have when they see attributes unrelated to their work in their EPC. Document management enhancements. Managing a large number of documents is now easier with EPC 13.1. Users can now upload multiple documents or folders with just a few clicks, download documents in zip format, and easily spot document types with their new icons. As an example, let's suppose an organization wants to upload 60 marketing files. To facilitate the task, EPC now has the mass upload function accessible from the Documents Modules tree. You can choose to upload files directly to a folder or upload a folder that can contain multiple documents and many subfolder levels in a single click, as shown in this example. Users can track the download or continue working by minimizing the window. While the files are being uploaded, let's take a look at our new icons in the Documents module. They are located before the name of each document, which makes it easier to identify the file type visually. Users can even find these icons in the My Documents widget. Once the download is complete, the hierarchical folder structure will be the same in EPC as is in your PC, and the document names will be automatically generated. In contrast, let's say an organization wants to extract all records regarding a specific project, say accounting, containing book records and budget plans. If the user decided to download all the documents one by one, it would take a lot of clicks, which would make the task time-consuming, and the files would not have a hierarchical structure when downloaded. Now, users can download sets or folders as zip files directly from the Documents Modules tree. If we open the file, we can find all the documents that have kept their hierarchical structure. Integration to trigger training requests directly in interfacing training app. Online training can be challenging for companies with large numbers of employees and changing roles, especially if the training is recurring, complex, and frequently updated. Additionally, the ability to track and monitor the completion of training related to SOPs, policies, or process changes is essential for companies to achieve compliance. To resolve these issues, we have synced the training module of our digital business platform, DBP, with EPC. Now, managers can easily create, assign, and track trainings in DPP, and trainees can quickly view and access their trainings from the To-Do module in EPC, making information accessible from a single place. Suppose an organization wants to train their employees on their new business continuity planning (BCP) process. Users will then navigate to the training app of the digital business platform in the Manage Training section. Here, users can set up training as they wish, including key information like the activation date, applicability, frequency, deadline, length of the training, assessment method, training name, and including the format of the training. This new training can be linked to an EPC object, either regulatory, document, or process. Here, we already selected our BCP process and the desired version of the object. If users want to initiate a training right now, but the object is still in draft version, the current version until next publish will associate the training to the latest version and its next published version. Latest published version will associate the training with the most recent published version of the EPC object. Latest version will associate the training to the object's version that is available today. Lastly, specified version will associate the training with the version of your choice. Then, we assign the training to the preferred users. Alternatively, we could have also assigned it to departments, roles, or groups. In the EPC To-Do module, users can see their training assignments along with their filterable training information, including sequence number, action type, deadline, etc. In this scenario, clicking on the BCP training task will automatically redirect users to the associated process. In the Required Training box, trainees will find previously created BCP training assignment and can then access it from there. When a training is tied to a specific version of an object, the user must toggle to view that version in order to complete the training. For example, if we are in the latest version of this document, but the training is in the version number 0.0001, we will need to switch to this version to be able to access the training. Additionally, if there are multiple training assignments, users can complete the initial training needed, then complete further training as required in the future. This functionality assures that users will always be certain to complete the proper training request. Swim lanes map added to quickly create a new process. A swim lanes map has been added to auto-create a graph in the new process form so that users can see what their process map looks like in real time while creating flow objects. The auto-mapping feature allows employees with no mapping experience the ability to create an end-to-end process easily without the need to drag and drop any shapes, by simply documenting their step-by-step procedures directly in the Flow Objects tab. Each time a flow object is added, edited, or removed by users, the system will automatically create the process map diagram visualization immediately, in real time. Even the responsibilities we assign to objects are automatically reflected. This is a great way to save time and effort during your process discovery phase. When done and saved, the new process with the swim lanes graph is created. Synchronization of changes from global to local. Too much time and effort is spent tracking new information with adding, editing, and deleting from the source to local processes without any errors made. This manual process makes it difficult to have correct and up-to-date data at all times. Localization Sync provides localized, customized data for organizations operating with or in several countries, sites or subsidiaries, departments, software products, machinery, and much more. With the new synchronization of changes from global to local feature, propagation of data from a source process to some or all local processes is automatic. On the other hand, data that does not need localization remains intact, allowing efficiency and, above all, control. Take our loans process, for example. In our source process, 2 roles take care of the entire process, and in our local process in the UK, there are 3 roles. If we want to sync all the details except the 3rd role specific to the UK local so that this data stays intact, we can access the graph edit of the source process by right-clicking on the desired objects. Navigate to the Sync with Local feature. Here, users can enable or disable synchronization of objects and all their data. When the changes are made to the local process and we decide to sync their source process with local, everything will get synced except those 3 tasks. Let's take advantage of our Compare feature. In our source process here, the investment officer and the loan admin officer run the entire process. But in our local process in the UK, these 3 tasks are the responsibility of the secretary. Synchronization is not only available at task level, but also at specific attribute level. To comply with different UK requirements, we need to leave all the names, sequence numbers, and descriptions of the process and all the tasks out of the sync. For that, we need to access the graph edit of the source process. This could also be done through the Details page. We can begin editing the sync details by right-clicking anywhere in the map. The Synchronization Details matrix will now appear. At the top of the matrix, users will see object names. A Select All checkbox is placed at each section, allowing users to check or uncheck an entire section. Each detail can be selected or deselected for synchronization as needed. For this example, we want to deselect the What is this process box and click Save. After the changes are made and location synchronization is enabled, the name, description, and sequence number will stay different. Additionally, the option to sync only certain local copies is also possible with this new feature. Let's say that our company has a source process with a specific software to operate, and we have a local for the same process but with a different software. We can exclude this local from the sync by editing the details of the source. In the Sync to Local dropdown, deselect the desired local and save. From now on, this local will never be synced with the source. Let's look at task creation and deletion scenarios. If users create a new task in the source process, Sync with Local is enabled by default, and the task will only appear in the local graph after we click the Sync with Local button. Secondly, if a task is created and connected to another flow object that has sync disabled in the source process and we sync locally, the new task will be added to the local graph but not attached to any object. As for deleting tasks, if a user deletes a task from local but is still available in the source process, this task will not be recreated when synchronizing with local. If a flow object with transitions is deleted in the source process, that object and its transitions will be deleted in the local after synchronization. Unpublishing. Unpublishing objects is now possible with a single click of a button. This removes access to an object that has reached its end of life or was published early in error. If, for example, our process called Manage External Relationships was mistakenly published, and we quickly want to restrict users from accessing the process, we can unpublish it with just a click. When the Unpublish button is selected, the object status is unpublished and it behaves as if it had never been published. Here, we have opened 2 windows. The first window has the Show Latest view, where we are able to see the process and its sub-processes in the tree. But in the second window, with the Show Published Only view, we won't be able to see the unpublished object. To prevent users from unpublishing an object that is in the middle of an approval or endorsement, the Unpublish button will be blocked during the ongoing cycle. Users will then need to cancel or go through the approval or endorsement steps to unpublish. Upon republishing, we have the option to keep the previously published version number, meaning that instead of incrementing the version since there was no changes made, we can republish with the same version. Once it's republished, users will be able to see it in the tree. View and revert draft versions. All versions, including in progress, are now clickable and restorable for all EPC objects. This feature allows users to browse, compare, and revert to older versions of objects, even if they are not published. As an example, if an editor made a mistake like deleting an important task to a previously saved draft version, they can roll back quickly and easily to how the object was before, whether the selected version was published or not. This can be done through the version history section. All version numbers are now clickable, and the Browse Versions button in Tools menu is removed. When clicking on a previous version number, users are redirected to that version. They can browse the object as they wish and revert. When the object is restored, a new version is created.